And in Israel, coexistence through sports, still keeping with our theme, as the Wimbledon championships are about to kick off in London, the legacy of a British tennis player turned philanthropist lives on in Arab communities across Israel. i24 News correspondent Tamar Aziv visited Jisr al-Zarqa, the first Arab-Israeli town touched by the unique endeavor.
In the late 90s, Freddy Krivine, then president of the Israel Tennis Association, noticed that Arab children in Israel weren't playing tennis. Troubled by this fact, he decided to change it, establishing tennis programs for Arab children and also for Jewish children, using the sport as a tool to bring these two sectors of society closer together. After Freddy passed away in 2005, his daughter Jane picked up the ball and named the initiative after her father, the Freddy Krivine Foundation. The results of the project are multifaceted and keenly felt in Jisr al-Zarqa, the first Arab-Israeli town to reap its benefits.
It's more than playing. They also sit and talk. Sometimes even it helps them finish their homework. It also has an educational value. It's not just sport. I think all types of sport are good, especially here in Jisr, where our socio-economic situation is very low. The population here is very weak and very poor. 70% of the youth here are considered to be at risk.
All of the key players in the project believe there's a connection between playing the sport and academic success, including the headmaster of the first school to be involved in the project, which incorporates the tennis lessons into its school curriculum.
Sportsmen are always busy. They don't have time to get into trouble. I'll tell you the truth, I like all kinds of sports, especially football, but tennis, I connect with less.
Nonetheless, he can't deny the passion he sees in his schoolchildren for the sport, nor the positive effect it has on their behavior.
I hope that one day this project will be in all the primary schools in town.
This dream of his is not far off. It will be realized by the start of the next school year. Further than that, Jane is working to expand the project as far as she can.
We're already expanding in that we have this big project in Jisr al-Zarqa, but we have other projects in Dalat al-Kamel, in Sakhnin, in Bakar Gabia, in Jaljulia, various places. And my vision for the future is to see more Arab kids in tennis, more Arab kids on the computer, ranked, and more Arab kids who can represent Israel playing abroad.
The children's enthusiasm is clear. As we drove down to the Beit Hanania tennis courts more than an hour before practice began, we spied a couple of early birds heading down there from Jisr, eager to knock up before training started.
I come here to train and to improve and to excel at tennis.
I love tennis. It's my hobby. I want to be a coach when I grow up.
Freddy Krivine had even higher hopes.
My father used to say, if anyone asked, used to say, my ambition is to see an Israeli Arab player play at Wimbledon.
He also hoped tennis could serve as a bridge between Arab and Jewish children. And for some, it truly has.
I'm 24. I started participating in Freddy Krivine's project when I was 6. To this day, I still have friends in Caesarea and all sorts of other places. I learned the language. I got to know the other side. I gained self-esteem, language, profession.
They both can't really speak the language, but you could see through the sports, they, would complement each other. And it's amazing because you don't really need a lot of talking to see them connecting with each other.
15 years ago, playing tennis simply wasn't an option for the vast majority of Arab-Israeli children. But today, even the scorching hot weather during the Muslim holiday of Ramadan can't keep these kids away from their tennis class. Tamar Aziv, Beit Hanania.
Lovely. And our correspondent Tamar Aziv joins me now. Tamara, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Tamara, I can see what would draw anyone to this story, but I want to ask you specifically, what drew you to this story?
Well, I'm always drawn to coexistence projects because I feel like they provide a glimmer of hope in this conflict-ridden region, and particularly in this country where it's so divided and so often Jewish and Arab kids don't even get to meet each other. So I think this is a great platform to provide positive interaction between them. But when I looked into the project, I learned that it's actually a lot more than a coexistence project. It's about equal opportunity. Freddy Krivine noticed an absence of something that was important to him in Arab communities and set about to change that. And if everyone did that, we could have some really positive development and bridges between the Jewish and Arab communities.
And you spoke to these kids that we saw in the report. How is being part of this program affecting them?
So actually speaking to them was hard for me because I needed a translator. But I didn't need the language to see how it impacted them. Their enthusiasm was very clear. As I mentioned, I saw them heading down there early. I spoke to the headmaster who told me how they started it in the older classes, and then the younger classes came up to him and they're saying, when is our turn? We also want to play. And in their playtimes, they're running out there to the tennis courts in their free time to play. And so from the kids' point of view, it's fun. It's something they can be passionate about, something they can do in their free time. And from their educator's perspective, they even linked it to, they said, you know, we've had so many tennis students go on to study medicine, and they think there's a connection between that. They think that the sport has helped calm them down, it's provided positive behavioral changes, and it's helped them in their studies.
It's a beautiful story and a bridge for peace through sports in a country where bridges such as this are much needed. Tamara Ziv, thank you very much for the story and for joining me today.